Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the tractor attachment and wood drying shed build. It's a mouthful. Made good progress in the first 2 parts, of course. If you haven't seen that already, go on back and watch those. You can kind of see why and what I'm building and how I went about. And everything so far to this point has been all lumber that I've cut on my mill. But today's a little different. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. But basically what we're going to try to do today is we're going to build a couple different sections for the roof up here that will be able to detach off of it, so I can move the whole thing in 2 pieces. I've just put some screws in this board to kind of hold these together, and then anyway, I'll show you more as we go along, but basically metal roofing will go on the top, and then we're going to do some of the fir strips, or as I've just been referring to as strapping, for around the outside of the structure. So in an effort to get this thing done, and because I haven't had time to be at the mill too much and mill up all the wood that I actually really needed, I cheated today. And when I was in Lowe's, or not Lowe's, but Home Depot, buying the galvanized metal roofing, I decided, you know what, let's just buy the other lumber so we can get this project done today rather than spend another day on the mill. And I don't even know what boards I have. Plus, I kind of wanted to make sure I was using pressure treated boards up on the top. The rest of it's all going to be stained. So I went ahead and bought 25 furring strips, 8-footers, 1 by 4 by 8 foot. I bought 4 pressure treated 2x4s and 8-footers and 4 6-footers. And so this is going to be the structure for our roof. We're going to use what I had originally cut I was going to use as strapping. We're going to use that instead for the roof structure itself. And we'll use these regular furring boards. This is exactly what I used. They're pretty cheap, well, I shouldn't say that. Nothing's cheap now. I think they were like $2.38 a piece, so not cheap at all compared to what they used to be. But anyway, it is what it is. And at least I'll be able to get this done, and the boards they'll match, because that's exactly what I used on the barn, as I showed you in the last video. You can kind of see over here. So it'll have the same kind of look. I'm going to leave that open space, and originally this was meant to be doing a lot more drying, and I was going to be doing more work in there. It's turned into storage at this point, so I left the plastic up on the inside, but it's worked really, really well, so I'm going to leave that be. But I'll use that same strapping along the furring boards, strapping along the sides of this thing as well, and hopefully this thing, by the end of this video, fingers crossed, we'll get this thing done. In fact, my nephew Casey, my good helper, is going to come out, and he's going to do some of the work today too, so that'll hopefully speed things up and we can actually wrap this video up today. That's the goal, at least. So thank you for joining us today. Welcome to TWC Projects, and let's get back to work. All right, before we get back to what is hopefully the final, hopefully the final day of this build, I think it will be, so we'll see. But anyway, it's about 35 degrees out here right now. It's surprised I can't see my breath. It's so cold. There's a bit of a breeze going, and it's supposed to warm up to 40. So I got to get moving here soon so I can warm up a little bit. But I wanted to share a little something about strength, and not my strength, the strength of the structural integrity and strength. You might be wondering why, you know, the nail gun is so efficient, you know, super fast. You're probably wondering why I'm not using that for everything, why I use screws for some things, why I use nails for some things, and what other things I do, what areas I try to strengthen up in any kind of structure like this that I'm building. So if you've been doing this, you know all this stuff. But if you're new to carpentry, or just, you know, interested in why or what, I figured I'd share just a little bit of that with you real quick. So in terms of screws, and I'm using these, I don't have them out right now, but they're special outdoor, you know, decking screws. They're meant to be fairly weather resistant. They last a lot longer than most, you know, a normal screw would. And I'm using these in places mainly that are going to have, you know, I've got them on all the corners here and a lot of the core structure that you saw me put in place. Anything that's going to kind of get moved around, you definitely want that in place, because nails tend to, when you move them, they can loosen up a little bit. The other reason I like using screws on this kind of you know, on these structures like this is I make mistakes, and screws are easy to take out and put back in. Nails, you can get them out, of course, but they end up doing a little bit more damage, especially with smaller wood. So mainly on the corners, you know, and the main structure itself, I'm using screws. That's my preference. I like to use them. I feel like I can make mistakes and fix them pretty quickly, and it gives it good strength. They don't pull out over time. They're pretty much in there. So why would I use nails then? Well, nails, of course, as you can see, so much faster with the nail gun. But for boards that just need to be kept in place, right? Like these boards, gravity's going to have a downward pressure on them. So the nails don't need to hold down. They just need to keep the boards from moving. And same with the boards on the sides here. These boards, there's not really any pressure pushing on them or moving them around so much. It's just to hold them in place. So nails are fast and efficient, and for smaller stuff like that, good. Like I said, though, I hate having to pull them out when you make mistakes, because often it'll split the board or you'll fight with them, but not a big deal. So that's one aspect of strength. Another one is, you know, why are these on here, or why did we put these? Actually, let's come around the other end. Why did we put those corner braces in there like that? Oh, I can't see that one either. Here you go. So these corner braces are in here because when I come in with the tractor and I'm bringing in, you know, the implements or the wood or whatever, it's going to end up pushing on this thing kind of forward and back. And those really help brace it, that forward and back strength, you know, the pressure on the structure moving back and forth. So this thing, I mean, I can't budge this thing. It's solid. So that's another place where I've used braces. And then right up in here, you can see I put these little 2x4s in here. Now, they're not going to do a ton. felt like it took hours to make the first one, and I didn't even finish it. I still need to do the cross pieces like I did in here. And these just basically keep these boards from twisting or bowing, which obviously would take away from the strength. So I can't, these are solid now. Gives a lot more rigidity to the structure. I'm sure there's probably some rule of how to do that, but I just know that helps. And so I just need to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to throw this up there and see how it looks. Hopefully I got it right. Last time I messed up, I laid it out on the ground the way I thought it was going to go up, but the whole thing had to flip over. So I was glad I'd used screws on the ends, because I was able to pull the ends off and switch them around. And the reason they're different mainly is because on the end it's just a single 2x4 that needs to sit on, but once you go forward there's two 2x4s to sit on, so it has to be cut deeper everywhere except for the end. So that's why I had to switch those, and that's why you're supposed to measure twice or 3 times, cut once. Fortunately I didn't have too much trouble. The second round was super fast. I probably did all of this in like 45 minutes compared to all of that. Took forever just to kind of figure it all out. So I think we're good. I'm going to throw it up there, pull the other one down, do the same with the 2x4s in between to give it better rigidity, and then hopefully I can climb up there and start screwing the galvanized metal roofing in place. So getting really close. Feels good. I'm excited. Let's keep going. Nice. All right, it's looking pretty good. Not perfect, but close, so I can figure out what's not lining up and then see if I can tighten it up a little bit. Looks like this board doesn't. So some of these boards I used were a little bit thicker. I just need to go back and trim that one out a little bit. But this one looks good. That one will sit well. It's just these two. That one looks good. It's mainly this one. That one could use a little bit too. All right, I'll trim a little bit out of that, but not bad, not bad. I like it. It's looking good. Give you a little closer look. So, of course, as I said, I'm making it in 2 pieces, and this is, I think once I have the metal on it, it'll be a 2-person job to get it up and put it back down, but a little bit off until I get those pieces trimmed so I can get a little more square. But overall, it's starting to look like a shed, isn't it? Got it. Perfect. All right. I think we got it. get the anchors put onto the roof now, and so when I'm ready to take this thing apart again and move it, all I need to do is take out a bunch of these screws, either here or from up here, I guess, depending on whichever I can reach. And but those are all anchored in now and solid, and it's looking good up here. Anchored up there too, and there. So this whole thing is very solid right now, and time to now get the metal roof on. So that's next, while Casey keeps doing the strapping, which is looking really good around the sides. And that's the project. So you notice there's a little bit of a piece here in the middle that is sticking up a little bit. That's because I didn't screw those together because I want the two roofs to be separate. So hopefully it overlaps enough though that it doesn't leak, or doesn't leak much. I don't think it will unless ice, starts to melt back up in there. But that's it. I've got the roof on now, and not perfect, but good. It's certainly good enough. And Casey finished up, did a great job getting all the strapping on. So last thing to do is clean up my mess a little bit and try it out. We're gonna stick some of the implements in there. Hopefully we have enough daylight left. I think we do. And maybe even get some wood up in there, but we'll see. So the one thing I still need to do, and I'll just catch up on a future video because I don't have one right now. I need a big hinge, but I'm gonna put a hinge on there and then a little hook up here so that I can swing this up, hook it out of the way temporarily. I think I told you this before, so I can get the wood in and drop it back down, because it still takes, there's still some weight on it. And so, especially if we get snow or ice, obviously I won't open it up at that point because it'll be too much weight. But right now, it's doing a great job. So let's get the tractor and get things cleaned up here. I'm running out of steam and I'm running out of sunlight. The sun is just trying to set down behind the trees there. So we're done, pretty much. I broke one of my boards trying to put both the weight of the I didn't put it in there correctly first, and I tried putting the bucket right on top of it and pushing it. When I did, I broke through one of the boards, but I knew those weren't super strong, so I put the 2x4 in there in the middle. And this isn't meant to be the permanent home for the forks, but it's fine for now. And then of course I've still got to put the hinge on here so I can flip this up, lock, and put a little lock up here to hold it up while I'm able to put wood in there and get it out. But that's it. I'm finally done. 3 weekends at least, I think it took, roughly 6 days, I think. Thanks to Casey, we got it done today. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have even finished today, because he got all the red boards up and painted in, or stained in, and hung, and they look really good. And the roof, was a challenge, as I knew it would be, but it's done also. And the whole thing is somewhat modular, so I can take it apart. But there's the back and the roof, and it's finally done. So hopefully next weekend I'll get a bunch of wood down here, start moving the wood that was down by the sawmill, and I'll move it down here, and so it dries better. and has a little bit more protection from the elements, because some of it just not really covered well. So hopefully this will work better, and I think I'm going to wrap it up right here. So that's a TWC project, finally finished, 3 parts, but I'm glad we got to the end. You got to see it, and so thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't done that, please do. Hit the like, hit the bell to get notified when new ones come out. Share with a friend. Keep coming back. Each week I try to have something, usually a little different, but this one obviously took a little longer, so we'll keep going, and just, you know, keep getting outside, creating things, fixing things, and enjoying God's amazing creation all around you. Until next time, have a fantastic week, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Barely, he's hibernating. There's the other one over there. He's massive. That thing is about, from one leg tip to another, probably about 3 inches.